Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today we have the rest of chapter 9, which is syllabic consonants, and today we shall know the consonants that are considered as syllabic ones, which are syllabic L and syllabic N, the nasal, the syllabic M and N, and the syllabic R sound. Okay, so let us begin with syllabic consonants. Of course, in the previous sections, we looked at the vowels in weak syllables, right? We say that the vowels in the weak syllables are three: schwa, and we have the close front and the close back, right? And we call them neutralized vowels. Okay? Today, we must consider the syllables in which no vowel is found. لازم نفهم أكو syllables there is no vowel. In this case, the consonant, for example, either L, R, nasal, for example, they stand as the peak of the syllable instead of the vowel. فراح يكون البيك بالسيلابل هسه بيجي حالة مو الفاولز اللي ذكرناهم وإنما consonant sounds اللي هم L or nasal sounds etc. Okay? So it is usual, of course, that the consonant, or to indicate that this consonant is a syllabic one, we put what? A vertical mark beneath the symbol. مو أكتب السمبل والرمز تحت شخط صغير عمودي. This is the symbol of what? Of the syllabic consonant sound. For example, when I say cattle, all is a syllabic one. أخلي شخطة صغيرة تحت ال حتى أبين إنه this is a syllabic one. So let us begin with the first consonant sound, which is what? The syllabic L. Syllabic L is the most noticeable example of the English syllabic consonants. Okay? It would be wrong to expect to find it in all accents, of course. No, some of the accents do not have this syllabic one. Okay? It occurs after another consonant. على الأغلب يجيني بعد consonants. And the way it is produced depends on what? The nature of that consonant. دائما اللفظ مالت ال يعتمد على لفظ أو place of articulation, the manner of articulation of the consonant, the preceding consonant. Okay? For example, when I say bottle, muddle, tunnel, okay, the articulatory movement from the preceding consonant إلى syllabic L is quite simple راح تكون. ليش؟ لأن the size of the tongue, which are raised for the preceding consonant, are lowered to allow the air to escape over the slice of the tongue. And this is called lateral release. Lateral release. الحركة رأسا تتحول من الN من الإت هذول الالفيولار ساوندز رأسا يتحول إلى حركة أو نطق الصوت الL. فهذه راح تكون الانتقالة سهلة بالنسبة لهذه الصوت. فإذا the pronunciation of the syllabic consonant depends on what? On the nature of the preceding consonant. There is a question. Where do we find syllabic L? For example, in the BBC accent, وين نلقى syllabic L? Okay? Of course, here also we should depend on the spelling. يعني as a guide. أيضا نعتمد على الحروف التهجي كguide in a rough guide. We have said this. It is a rough guide. The most obvious case is where we find or we have a word ending with one or more consonant letters followed by LE or LES, for example. الكلمات اللي تنتهي ب LE أو LES على الأغلب تكون بها شنو يمكن أن أعتبر هذا الصوت أو هذا راح يكون ال L صوت يعتبر syllabic L consonant sound. For example, when I say we have 1 and 2, we have examples here. For example, when I say cattle, cattle تنتهي ل ال هي، تلاحظ حرف ال L وال E، هذه يمكن أن أعتبرها cattle، bottle، wrestle، muddle. أوكي. أو في بعض الأحيان لما تكون non-alveolar consonant مو alveolar consonant، مثلا when we have couple ينتهي ل LE، struggle LE، trouble knuckle. أوكي. هذه ال LE تعتبر إيش؟ syllabic consonant sound اللي هي ال L. Such words usually طبعا sorry lose their final letter E when a suffix beginning with a vowel is attached. كثير من هذه الكلمات من أخلي لها مثلا ing يقول الإي راح تنحذف but the syllabic L is remained. ال L usually remains syllabic one. يعني حتى لو خلينا وراهم شلنا الإي وضفنا ing for example ال L هنا راح تبقى syllabic L. أوكي. يعني مثلا عندي bottle bottling الإي أحذفها مو ال إي، إحنا قلنا كحروف تعتبر هي syllabic L. هنا يقول لك إذا ضفنا أي مقطع آخر يمكن أن يحذف الإي حرف الإي لكن ال L is still syllabic one. Okay. We have on page 69 we have similar words that are not derived in this way. Okay. But they do not have the syllabic L. For example, when I have the two words منطيني أمثلة two words، وحدة منطيني cuddling هي مأخوذة من الفعل cuddle، cuddle معناها spoil boil. okay cuddle. okay. and cuddling مأخوذة من cuddling معناها طبعا السمول cod، الكود المهد الكاروك احنا نسميه بالعامية. فهذا الكود لما أريد أصغره يعني صيغة تصغير أنطيه أضيف له diminutive suffix ling to cod، فش يصير cuddling. Here we have we have a contrast between the syllabic and the non-syllabic L. الكودلينج الأولى اللي هي بالأصل موجودة موجودة بالفعل cuddle، هذه تعتبر syllabic L، بينما اللي احنا ضفناها إلى الكود وأيضا هي صارت cuddling لكن مو مثل الأولى. it is not a syllabic one. okay. We also find syllabic L in words spelled at the end as AL or EL. الحالة الثانية احنا قبل شوي قلنا الكلمات اللي تنتهي بحروف L or LES يمكن أن LE or LES يمكن أن نعتبرها syllabic شنو؟ syllabic L consonant sound. أيضا الكلمات اللي تنتهي EL or AL يمكن أن نعتبرها أو تعبر أو تمثل لي syllabic L consonant sound. For example عندي أمثلة أيضا وسط البيج. we have panel تلاحظ EL panel. we have kernel okay. we have parcel EL. we have babel okay babel. we have battle AL bedel. we have papal and we have what ducal. إذن أكو كل الكلمات ال EL تنتهي له أو ال AL يمكن أن ألفظها syllabic L. okay. طبعا some less common or more technical words. Technical words it is not obligatory to pronounce syllabic L and the sequence AL اللي هي schwa L may be used instead. For example we have مثل يمكن أن ألفظها كسيلابيك L. okay مثل سيلابيك L كمقطع الوحدة، ويمكن أن أضيف قبلها شنو شوا. راح تلاقينا مثل هيك كلمات اللي هي يمكن أن تلفظ بطريقتين، تلفظ كسيلابيك L وقد تكون لا شوا و L طبيعية. yes. هاي وين يكثر؟ بالتكنيكال words بالكلمات التكنيكية العلمية التقنية etc. الصوت الثاني اللي هو يمكن أن يعتبر syllable بحد ذاته is the syllabic N. okay. اللي هو طبعا syllabic nasal. okay. so of the syllabic nasals the most frequently found and the most important one is what is the N. very important. احنا nasals عندنا ال N وال M وال N لكن ال N هو the most important and the frequent one. Okay. Also here we have when should it be pronounced. كيف ألفظه؟ مش وقت ألفظ الأن كتعتبر لي syllabic N. عندي general rule، عندي قانون عام إنه هو كل الكلمات اللي تبدأ لي أو phonologically composed of plosive or fricative consonant plus شواء are uncommon except in the initial position. يقول دائما شو يكون عندي. So we can find word. For example أعطيكم مثال حتى أفهمكم يعني. For example the word tonight. Or for example when I say phonetic. or عندي كلمة كلش عرفوها ولدنا مثلا سناتا، مو سوناتا، سناتا. Okay, سناتا. Here we use شواء but medial. This is لما تكون عندي شنو initially. But medially and finally, for example when I say threaten مثلا or threatening, we find much more commonly a syllabic N. Okay. فإذا بالinitial position الN ضعيف وجودها، تكون uncommon. لكن medially and finally we can't find what syllabic N. For example when I say threatening. Okay. هذه we have what here the syllabic N. أيضا number 2 syllabic N is the most common after the alveolar plosives and fricatives. ثبتوها. السيلابيك N دائما وين تجيني بعد البلوسيفز والفريكاتيفز. مثلا بالcase of ت، د، س، ز. Okay, followed by N. The plosive is nasally realized by lowering the suffix palate, of course, so that in the word, for example, when I say eaten, الN هنا تعتبر syllabic one. Okay. ليش؟ لأن الtongue doesn't move in the ten sequence but the soft palate is lowered at the end of the T. فلذلك compressed air escapes through the nose. رأسا راح يطلع لي من النوز. فإذا السيلابيك N موجودة وين؟ بعد الالveolar plosives والفريكاتيفز. من هما؟ الت والد والس والز. Okay. عندي نقطة أخرى. We do not usually find syllabic N after التش وال التش والج. Okay, we do not have such things. We do not have the syllabic N. Okay, for example when I have sullen ال L لاحظ ال L وعندي Christian for example, or when I say pigeon. So these are not syllabic N. We do not have syllabic N after ال L sound والش sound والج sound. ولكن وين ألقاهم؟ ورا الت والد والس والز. Clear؟ إذن أول نقطة بالنسبة للsyllabic N we cannot find it initially يعني uncommon. Okay, غير معتاد عليها. زين. But medially and finally, no, we can find syllabic N. This is one. Syllabic N is found also after what? After alveolar plosives and fricatives. من هما الت والد والس والز. Number 3, we do not usually find the syllabic N after L with ch and j. Okay. Also, syllabic N is after the non-alveolar consonant sound is not also widespread. ما ألقاها بشكل كبير. For example, when I say wagon, the N here is not a syllabic one. It is pronounced as schwa-N. So it is not also widespread after the non-alveolar consonant sounds. We have words on page 70. We have words like happen or happening or ribbon. Here we can consider it equally acceptable to pronounce as syllabic N or with schwa N. Okay, يعني happen أقدر ألفظها happen in syllabic one أو أضيف schwa N. For example, when I say thicken or waken, thicken. I can pronounce them also in both, let us say, states, in both cases. النقطة الأخيرة page 70 بالنسبة للsyllabic N إنه after الف والف syllabic N is more common than the schwa N. بعد الF والN الN تصير syllabic أكثر لما من تكون schwa N. Okay? For example, when I say seven, heaven, often are more usually like syllabic N more than what when I say seven or heaven or often. Okay? فإذا الsyllabic N is usually here. It is more common after الف والف sounds. Clear? Now we come across the other syllabic consonant sounds, the nasal ones, اللي هم M and ing. M and ing. طبعا we will not spend much time on the syllabic pronunciation of these consonants. Why? Because both can occur as syllabic. الM والing يمكن أن يصيرون syllabic but only as a result of, ولكن فقط نتيجة لإيش؟ processes such as assimilation الإدغام and elision اللي هو الحذف. Okay? هذولي بعد هذولي العمليتين يمكن أن أحصل على syllabic M and syllabic ing. Okay? In words ينطيني أمثلة. In words like happen, for example, which can be pronounced like happen. Okay? طبعا I exaggerate to explain things for you. So instead of say happen, we say what happened. Though happen and happen are equally acceptable. احنا بالأصل قلنا تتذكرون قبل شوية قلنا N بعد happen N يا أما syllabic one it's okay when I say happen أو يمكن أن نقول happen pen أخلي شوا N they are equally acceptable. Sometimes because of the assimilation of processes بعض الأحيان بسبب عملية الإدغام يمكن أن تتحول الN إلى M فتصبح syllabic M. Okay? For example, when I say uppermost, okay? Either ألفظها uppermost, okay? Or I pronounce the, after the P, I put what with schwa. Okay? So I can pronounce them in two ways. We have, for example, the word thicken. Thicken and thickening or syllabic ing. I can pronounce them also as a syllabic ing. For example, when I put a word after, when I say broken key, okay? Here we have what? Ing, اللي هي شنو هي syllabic one. Clear? Syllabic ing. الثالثة N إذا عندنا we have N خلصنا من عندها and we have M and ing sound. Those can be considered as syllabic consonant sounds شو وقت after or the result of what? As a result of processes such as assimilation and elision. The last sound, the last syllabic sound actually we have syllabic R. In many accents of the type called rhotic اللي حكينا عنها تتذكرون اللغات الروتيك اللي قلنا الر sound is pronounced in all positions مو هذه الر sound يلفظوها في كل الأوقات يسموها rhotic accents سميناها زين اللي هي الأمريكان accents. السيلابيك ر is very common. يقول السيلابيك ر في هذه الأكسنتس is very common. For example, when I say the word particular, the American one is pronounced like particular. R sound is a syllabic one. Okay? So BBC speakers know they pronounce the word as what? As particular. Syllabic R is less common طبعا in BBC pronunciation. It is found in weak syllables such as the second syllable in preference. إذن قليل استعمالها وموجودة مثلا في المقطع الثاني من كلمة preference. In most cases where it occurs, there are acceptable alternative pronunciations without the syllabic consonant. وين ما تحصل يقول الري sound يمكن أن ألفظها syllabic one أو ألفظها ري طبيعية. There are a few pairs of words, we have pairs or minimal pairs, in which the difference between syllabic re and non-syllabic re will make a difference in meaning. فقط في بعض الكلمات اللي هي تعتبر minimal pairs الاختلاف في اللفظ السيلابيك ري أو ري طبيعية will make راح يحصل لي اختلاف بالمعنى. مثلا كلمة جوعان in English اسمها hungry, right? hungry. And عندي لما for example لما يقول he's from Hungary, so I called or I pronounce it as what? As hungry. Okay, so we found no case of syllabic error where it would be not or would not be possible to substitute either non-syllabic re or schwa re. Okay, when I pronounce it without schwa, it will have another meaning. Okay, so I should pay attention with the words اللي هم سميتهم minimal pairs. Well, this will cause what difference in meaning, not only in spelling. The last topic or point for this lecture here in chapter 9, which is about strong and weak syllables, we have the combinations of syllabic consonants. Combinations, the joining of syllabic consonants. Can we have two, for example, syllabic consonants together in a word, in our speech, in a word, in our sentence, for example? Yes, it is not unusual. It is usual to find two syllabic consonants together. For example, when I say national, the N is what? Is a syllabic consonant sound, and the L is a syllabic one also. We have, for example, literal, okay? Or we have visionary. The N and the re also syllabic consonant sound here. When I have, for example, veteran, we have re is syllabic consonant sound, and the N also is what? Is a syllabic one. Okay, so can we have combinations of syllabic consonants? Yes, we can have. Okay, it is important to remember that it is often not possible to say with certainty whether a speaker has pronounced a syllabic consonant, a non-syllabic consonant, or a non-syllabic consonant plus schwa. Okay, it is not possible to say this. It is not possible to recognize that this word is said, is pronounced by X من الناس with as a syllabic consonant sound, or he doesn't pronounce it as a syllabic consonant sound. Okay, it is a language, and we should imitate the foreigners or the native speakers, to pronounce their words and their language. Okay, in this chapter, students, the exercise is very important, and you know that the answer for these exercises is at the end of the book. We have on page 72, and even in the PDF that I sent for you, I highlight also this exercise. This exercise is important. The following sentences, let us say, the question is what, or the exercise? The following sentences have been partially transcribed. طبعا هذا page 72 تمرين. هذه sentences have been partially جزئيا transcribed. نعطيكم إياها لترانسكريبشن بس مو كامل. But the vowels have been left blank. فقط الفاولز خلوها فراغ. fill the vowels. هذا سؤال مهم. fill in the vowels. مليل الفاولز المحذوفة. taking care to identify which vowels are weak. مع ذكر أي هذه الفاولز تكون weak. put no vowel at all if you think a syllabic consonant is appropriate. في بعض الأحيان ما نحتاج vowel، نعتبر consonant sound هو شبيه هو a syllabic one، فإذا ما نحتاج vowel. but put a syllabic mark beneath the syllabic consonant. بينما الصوت الصحيح اللي تعتبره أنت syllabic one, you should put what? You should put a vertical mark. تتذكروها vertical mark الشخطة تحت الصوت. Okay, so we have here 5 sentences. They are very important. Please pay attention to them and find the answer for this question because it is very important one. Okay, so let me summarize chapter 9 for you, please. This chapter is about strong and weak syllables. We have said that English language in its, of course, pronunciation have syllables which are strong and many others are weak. Okay, but it is necessary to study how these weak syllables are pronounced and where they occur. Of course, we know that many factors affect the pronunciation of the syllables. عوامل كثيرة تأثر لي على لفظ هذه syllables. For example, stress, elision, and intonation also. لذلك راح تكون عندي words بيها strong forms وبيها weak forms. words ألفظها بشكل قوي strong وعندي بنفس الكلمة بيها weak form in another context. Okay, سؤال هسه يجيني كيف أفرق ما بين strong syllables or weak syllables أو ما هي طرق التمييز ما بيناتهم. أول way هي الفاول اللي موجود that is found in the weak syllables راح يكون عندي shorter, lowered intensity and different in quality. Okay, sometimes we do not have vowels, we have what? Syllabic consonant sounds. There are other ways of characterizing the strong and weak syllables. For example, the weak syllable راح يكونون unstressed and the strong syllables are what? Are stressed one. Okay. النقطة الأخرى إنه هو إيش؟ الweak syllable contains or includes vowels اللي هم 3 الشوا والclose front and rounded vowel and close back rounded vowel. Okay, close front and rounded وclose back rounded. Okay, وينطيني أمثلة عليها في البيج الأخرى. أول صوت هو الشوا. طبعا الشوا هو most frequently occurring vowel in English قلنا وكثير من السيلابلز بيها هذه الفاول وعندي تعريفه موجود عندي في وسط page 65. وبعدين حكينا إنه كيف أنا أميز يعني learners of English need to learn where schwa is appropriate and where it is not. Okay, so they depend the solution أو يعني لحل هذه المسألة they depend on the traditional phonemic theory هي which depends on spelling. يقول خلينا نعتمد على spelling. فينطيني 10 حالات بها الشوا الحروف اللي تجيني بالتهجي أو هجاء الكلمة كيف ألفظها بصوت الشوا بالpronunciation بالweak form of the words. ننتقل بهذا الشابتر إلى الclose front والclose back vowels اللي هي الإي and الأو. قلنا الإي اللي هو يشبه لي حرف الآي قلنا هو ما بين اللونج إي والشورت إي like Pete and Pit هو in between these two vowels. والصوت الثاني اللي هو قلنا rounded back vowels اللي هو شنو اللي هو الأو اللي هو ما بين الصوت الطويل للأو for example when I say food and الصوت القصير للأو like in good. So in between سميناهم neutralized vowel. Okay, قلنا to solve this, or to find a possible solution for example to this problem. لأنه بالبي بي سي for example أخذنا تذكرون قلنا لما نقول easy يمكن أن نكتبها ب long E أو short E. قال ليش ما نحلها ننطيه special symbol for this اللي هو in between neutralize one نخليه وكأنه هو حرف ال I. okay. بعدين where it occurs راح ينطيني 4 حالات أيضا تعتمد على السبيلنج، الكلمات اللي تنتهي بحرف الواي أو الإي واي أو الآر إي بي آر إي دي، هاي لما تكون بريفكس بمقدمة الكلمة، أو لما تكون عندي مثلا suffix ينتهي لي بآي أي تي إي حروف، أيضا هاي كلها ألفظها بصوت الإي القصير. أو كلمات مثلا unstressed اللي هي she والهي والبي etc. ينتقل لي إلى الأو يقول هي it is not so commonly found. okay, so we found most frequently in words like you مثلا to, into, do. هذه لما تكون unstressed are not followed or immediately preceding a consonant sound. اليوم كملنا ويا هذا الشابتر بالsyllabic consonant sound. أول syllabic consonant sound كان ال L. okay, the L is very important one, and it depends on what, on the nature of the consonant, the preceding consonant one. okay, where can I find the syllabic consonant sound اللي هو ال L? I can find it for example أيضا depending on the spelling نعتمد على الحروف الهجاء. كل الكلمات تنتهي لي ب LE أو LES يمكن أن ألفظها syllabic L. okay, لكن حتى في بعض الأحيان لما تفقد الإي يعني حرف الإي يمكن أن تكون ال تبقى syllabic one. ثم جينا على syllabic N. also it is very important and the most frequently found يعني in English اللي هو syllabic from يعني one of the syllabic nasals I mean in English what is syllabic N. okay, the syllabic N, where can I find it? I can find it medially or finally in the words. okay, but initially it is not it is uncommon. Number 2, I can find it after the plosive, alveolar plosive fricative sounds like t with d with s with z. منطيني أمثلة عليها. And number 3, we do not usually find the syllabic N after L with ch with j. We cannot find them. And number 4, we can find them also after the non-alveolar consonant sound. We cannot find them. okay, it is not so widespread. For example, the word wagon or toboggan etc. okay, the sounds, the words with let us say bilabial sounds like happen. okay, we can pronounce it as syllabic N or with schwa N. Number or the last point here we have after الفاء والفاء syllabic N is more common than the schwa N. يعني بعد الفاء والفاء نلفظها syllabic أكثر من نلفظها schwa N. although there are let us say the two pronunciations are what are right. نيجي إلى syllabic M and N. we will not spend much time. we have said this on this the syllabic pronunciation of these consonant sounds. Why? Because they can occur as syllabic consonant sounds after or as a result of assimilation process or elision process. okay, منطيني أمثلة like happen مثلا. we have a broken key and we have uppermost for example etc. And the last syllabic consonant sound here in this chapter is syllabic قلنا many accents اللي هي سميناها rhotic one اللي هي American accents. syllabic is very syllabic I mean is very common. okay, and syllabic is less common بالBBC pronunciation قليل وجودها. لكن we can say مثلا in a word like a preference we can listen or hear this syllabic okay. we can say that we can pronounce syllabic or not this kind of a pronunciation unless in the case of what of the minimal pairs we should pay attention that it makes a difference. It may make a difference in meaning. The last question and point in this chapter is, can we have combinations of syllabic consonants? Yes, we can. Okay, we can have two syllabic consonants together. ومنطيني أمثلة عليها الكاتب كثيرة. And أيضا ذاكر لي إنه it is difficult, it is not that possible for us to distinguish whether the speaker pronounce what syllabic consonant sound or not, or does not pronounce this sound. Okay, and I've told you that the written exercise in this chapter is very important. Pay attention to it, and the answer you will find it at the end of the book, please. Thank you very much for listening and sharing with me this lecture. We will, God willing, cover another chapter in the next lectures. Thank you very much. Good luck.